They explain to him that nobody ever gets to see gold because he doesn't actually exist. He's just a representation of ego and the personification of greed. He only has power over those who invest in him. So what Jake needs to do is change the rules of what he allows to control him. Afterward, Jake takes the rest of his money from the bank and donates it all before sneaking into Matcha's bedroom. While fighting with the voices in his head that represent his ego, Jake apologizes to Matcha for tricking him out of his money, accepts him as the superior crime lord, and tells him he's made a donation in his name before leaving. In order to confront his fears, Jake takes the elevator, which gets stuck on the 13th floor. While fighting off a panic attack, he has a conversation in his mind in which he rejects his ego, finally stepping out of the game as a free man. Once the elevator being's working again, Jake reaches the ground floor and finds Matcha waiting for him with a gun, driven crazy by his own ego. However, Jake is at peace with himself and simply walks past him, which drives Matcha mad because he can't understand how someone won't fear him. He begins crying as he understands how thoroughly humiliated he's been. The next morning, Paul brings Matcha all the local newspapers for him to see his name plastered all over them. Jake hadn't been lying when he said he made a donation in Matcha's name, and now everyone thinks the casino owner cares about the community. Matcha is happy to take the credit, but his happiness is short-lived. Paul also informs him that Jake has the powder and he's been playing them all along. Paul, Sorter, and the rest of Matcha's henchmen go visit Billy, who manages to hide his daughter in the cupboard when he realizes one of his bodyguards has betrayed him. Once he's found, the men begin hurting him while interrogating him, not believing when he says he doesn't know where Jake and the powder are. Paul's methods are quickly escalating and Sorter starts feeling uncomfortable, especially when they make the girl come out of the cupboard after they hear her sob. Refusing to hurt a child, Sorter rejects his ego and begins killing his fellow henchmen methodically and effectively, but he makes a mistake at the end and gets killed too. Meanwhile, Matcha is visited by Lily. She brings him a wreath sent by Gold, who isn't happy with seeing Matcha's name all over the newspaper since he doesn't like publicity. Lily also informs him that Matcha's time is over and he won't have a second chance, which sends him into another panicking frenzy. Avi and Zach take Jake and the powder to Matcha's casino, where Avi finally beats Jake at a game of chess while confessing the last few details of the story. He and Zach had been the men in the cells next to Jake's, and they always wanted to take him away with them, but he hadn't been ready to accept the truth, implying they have been nothing but merely figments of Jake's imagination. Unfortunately, he doesn't have time to come to terms with this because at that moment, the casino's bodyguards come to take him to see Matcha, who has the girl with him. After dropping the bags of powder on the floor, Jake tells his niece everything will be fine, which drives Matcha mad because Jake is still showing no fear even when he's pointing his gun at the child. Humiliation causes the ego voices in Matcha's mind to reach the conclusion that Jake can't hurt a dead man, so he puts the gun against his head and shoots.